Real 92.3, LA's new home for hip-hop, and now LA's #1 radio station. Big Boy's
Big
neighborhood,
Boy.
man. Coronavirus. Everyone's talking about it. We got to bring our friend into the neighborhood to bring us up to speed even more. So let's bring Dr. Oz into the neighborhood. Dr. Oz, hello.
Hello, my friends. Lots to talk about with this coronavirus.
I know, Dr. Oz. First off, Dr. Oz, like the coronavirus, is it something that's new or is this like a different strain? I don't know what you would call this, like, but coronavirus been around, correct?
Coronavirus is the virus that causes a sore throat in a lot of people, so it's not new. However, because more humans are living close to more animals, there are these viruses that live in animals that normally wouldn't be a problem for us. But imagine if that virus from an animal married a virus like a coronavirus that's in your throat and made a new virus related to the old ones, like the kids, but a virus that's much more virulent, much more willing to spread, and it actually could be lethal. And that's what we ended up with. It happened, we believe, in Wuhan, China, in a wet market where these little animals, mammals, rodents called pangolins, and they have rats and other animals there as well. But a bat bit one of those animals. The saliva from those animals mixed with something we were doing, got into our mouth or our face, and then created a new virus. And that's why we've got so many people now worried and scared.
And when we say worried and scared with the coronavirus, Dr. Oz, how worried and scared should we really be?
Well, I'm not worried about death. I know that sounds like a low threshold, but
right.
But it's probably twice the mortality of the flu. So if 1 in 1,000 people dies of the flu, you'll get 2 out of 1,000 dying with the coronavirus. But that's not really the issue. It is a lot more contagious than the flu. Right. And I'll give you a number. If Big Boy, if you had the flu, right, you'd give it to about 9 people in a week. But coronavirus, you'd give that to 45 people.
Wow.
Because it's so much more contagious, it spreads like wildfire. And especially in hospitals and nursing homes and places where if one person gets sick, everyone's breathing the same air. They all get it. They all get infected. And that's why the early mortality rate was so high, because it would spread to the ICU where people were already sick. And then they get a flu on top of that, and you knock them off of the edge.
Should we be even more so concerned daily? Like, is it airborne, Dr. Oz?
It is airborne, but you don't get it from coughing in people's faces. Okay. You get it because they cough on the table, and then you touch that table. And this is why it's so much more contagious. The influenza, regular flu, if you touch a table 2 days after the person coughed on it, you might get it. But with the coronaviruses in the past, it can last up to 9 days. So someone who may have been on that subway a long time before you got on it, you never saw them, but they were stifling and hacking and cold, and they get it on the handrail, and you touch that, then put your fingers to your face, which we do 1,000 times a day plus. That means that you'll now put that virus in your eyes or your mouth. And now you have the infection.
And what about the symptoms? You know, is it just something that's regular where we'll feel like, oh, we just have a cold or we just have a flu?
Most people will feel just that. Nothing big. 80% of folks will say little, maybe once in a while, some intestinal issues, sore throat, sniffles, muscle aches and pains, not having a high fever, right? But then 20% of people seem to get a lot more symptomatic. And some of those people, if they have diabetes, autoimmune problems, if they have bad lungs, if they're smokers, good reason to stop smoking, by the way, those are the folks that seem to run into problems with this virus. And so the part of the challenge, just speaking to the nation's leaders on this, is we don't want everyone running to the emergency room because we just don't have the capacity. But we want people who are getting short of breath because that's how it kills you. It causes a pneumonia, so you can't breathe. Those people got to go to the hospital early and get treated.
What do we do to stay safe?
So I've got a one sheet. It's a survival guide. I'm sending it to your team. You guys can post it. It's all over my
it's on my social media already. I got mine up.
Oh, perfect. So let me break it down there. 4 basic categories. First, lifestyle. Turns out that sleep and regular exercise, that's 30 minutes every other day, strongly helps your immune system stay fit. And meanwhile, by the way, if you get a humidifier, if you're in a cold area, you don't have to worry about it so much in L.A., but a HEPA filter would be helpful. Then the hygiene, handshakes are a thing of the past.
Yeah, you said handshakes are canceled, huh?
From now on, fist pump. And fist bumping is 1/10 as risky, 1/10. And while you're talking about keeping your hands clean, you got to wash them. But you don't just wash your wrists. You got to wash the fingertips. Washing your fingers and fingertips, if they're clean, then you won't contaminate yourself, and that kills off the virus. And then there's this issue of being prepared. You got to make sure you're staffed up on your medications, especially if you're one of the higher risk groups. So get some food staples, because just like if there was a storm, if there was a bad virus outbreak in Los Angeles, you don't want to leave the house for a week or two. Just make sure you got all the food you need so everyone's happy. And then finally, some self-help tips. Fruits and veggies really help a lot. If you don't eat enough of them, vitamin C and D3 are hugely beneficial. So it's all natural, real food, but higher doses, and it helps each of those, your immune system, react more rapidly if it has been infected or attacked.
And Dr. Oz, I see under hygiene as well, you say eliminate face touching. I saw that once before, and we're so quick to like do something, touch our face, put something in our eye, like eliminate that.
Well, it's impossible for a lot of people, but you can be more attentive to it anyway. I tell you to wear gloves, but you touch your gloves to your face. It won't help you. So the best you can do is just avoid it. In fact, since you're on it, masks, we don't have enough, and most of them don't work. So don't worry about masks right now. If the doctors need to wear masks in the hospital, the nurses, let them use the few masks that are around. The other ones, the surgical masks, like I wear in the operating room, those are designed to protect the patient from me, not to protect me from the patient. So they're not going to keep you safe.
And what about down the road? Like, are we looking for a vaccine? Like, what's the end game to coronavirus?
A vaccine. And I'd like to say we have one coming up soon, but I talked to the major virus hunter of the country today on my show, and we're at least a year to a year and a half away, because you got to be sure it's safe. You don't want to give a couple 100 million people a shot that's dangerous for them.
And Dr. Oz, the coronavirus survivor protocol, where can they find that? Because I have it in my hand. Is it on your droz.com?
Yep, and it's also on all my social feeds, Facebook, Instagram, but wherever you go on Twitter. And I just did a Today Show this morning, so it's all over their stuff as well. But just pull it down, print it out, put it on your refrigerator, and share it with your friends.
Dr. Oz, what about all that we're hearing about major big events like music festivals, like South by Southwest? Like, not that one was canceled just yet, but there have been some that have already been canceled, and then we're also planning ahead, like in a few months. Coachella. What should we know about going to major events like this?
Sporting events, everything.
Yeah, well, in Europe, they're playing sporting events without any crowds. Like, there's just the players. No one's allowed in the stadium. I think for the next 2 months, most people should avoid unnecessary major events where you're going to be in close proximity with lots of people you don't know, because that's how hundreds and thousands of people can get ill at once. However, I wouldn't cancel business travel. I personally am not canceling any of my travel. But I'm not going to any big events like that. And the events I was going to speak at, they're already contacting me to try to reschedule. So I would push everything back into the summer and later. By that time, the virus will slow down. Doesn't like the warm weather. So that's why in L.A. I'm a little less worried than other parts of the country. But I do believe the virus is going to come back again in the fall, because it's going to be an endemic virus, which means it's always part of our genome. But can I say something big? And Big Boy, you've been so good about this, about getting people to really understand what the emotional issue is here. Deep in our psyche, we are fearful of these viruses because historically our species was threatened by things we couldn't see, like viruses. And it is the existential threat to all of us, right? It's the one thing that could kill us all. This is not that virus. So the key story to remember here is we're Americans. We're can-do people. We've been in difficult situations before. We're going to fight back on this. Just give the system, the medical system, and the doctors trying to help, the nurses, as well as scientists, time to develop a vaccine and gear up so we have enough ICU beds and enough ventilators. Give us time by taking care of yourself, and then we'll all get through this together. I don't want to falsely give people calm, although I'm very confident we're going to do well. But there are going to be some painful moments along the way. So if we're all adults about this and go back to our American roots, we'll be fine.
Right. So let those that have to do their job do theirs, and we do ours.
Yeah, we can. This one sheet tells you what to do, and especially if you've got an older family member with you who's got some medical illnesses, you really want to make sure you don't get them at risk. I don't worry about the kids as much, and I definitely don't worry about the adults. But it's the older folk that they're the ones you want to be careful of. So if you think you're ill, just get the heck out of Dodge. Let folks stay by themselves. You don't want to contaminate grandma with her diabetes or heart problem, because that could be a real issue for the family.
Dr. Oz, I thank you, man. No need for us to be in a panic, but just pay attention, and we thank you for the phone call, Dr. Oz.
God bless you. Do what Americans have always done. Just be brave.
There it is right there, man. Dr. Oz in the neighborhood, Big Boy's neighborhood.